Hello, hello, dear listeners. It's Hollis here. I'm recording this on Zoom so I can do a video recording as well as an audio. So I'm going to try this out. Um, Hi, friends. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you've had a great week and I hope you're having a great summer. I'm looking outside right now at my two cute little dogs basking in the sun. They're very cute. Makes me happy. I was having a conversation yesterday and somebody mentioned or brought up the idea of being willing to exchange comfort for happiness. And happiness is it's a tricky term because happiness is an emotion. It's an emotional state. But then there's the bigger picture of a happy life and happiness as an experience that is consistent over a long period of time in our lives that usually indicates that we're feeling fulfilled and on purpose, aligned, comfortable and confident, and with an overall sense of ease and joy with how our lives are going and who we're able to be inside the container of our lives. And we are always in a constant state of change. I mean, our bodies are continually changing, our cells cellularly, we're evolving emotionally, spiritually. And as we do that, we grow, and sometimes our sense of self, our identity, needs to shift as well. And this is where we can get stuck, is we sometimes want to upgrade our lifestyle. And for me, it's really become about lifestyle versus a vision for our lives. I think that can be kind of a removed sense of, I'm going to create a vision out over here outside for my life, instead of just asking yourself, what kind of lifestyle do you want to lead or live inside of? What do you want your life to look like day to day? What kind of experiences do you want to have? When do you want to wake up in the morning? Where do you want to be when you wake up? What kind of experience do you want in those first quiet or noisy hours of your life? What do you want your breakfast to be like? And who do you want to be breakfasting with? Do you meditate? Do you journal? Do you give yourself time to be quiet and receive? Do you ask through prayer or conversation or journaling? Do you read? How do you start your day? What does it look like? How does it feel? How does your day then shift into the more productive hours? Where are you working? What is that lifestyle that you want? What do you do for lunch? Who are you with? Do you have kids? Do you have a partner? Is it loving? Is it funny and fun? I know a man who's very serious, and he feels very confident in being very serious, and his wife is as well. And that's their happy. Do you like to go out after work? Do you like to work outside of the house? Do you like to work in your pajamas? Do you not like to work? Do you not want to work? What is that lifestyle? Do you have animals? Do you travel? Do you have friends over? Do you did I say this? Do you go to happy hour after work every day? What's dinner like? And then do you take vacations every 2 months? Twice a year? Never? What is comfortable to you? How do you exercise? What's your body like? What's your sleep like? How many hours a night of sleep do you get? What kind of bed do you sleep in? What the lifestyle that we want is just really about, what's the day-to-day experience like of the life? What's that container look like and feel like? And then beyond that, how are we building upon that, expanding, traveling, speaking publicly, owning a business, working for a company that we believe in, being a stay-at-home parent or person? The sky's the limit. And if we can envision that lifestyle, we can have that lifestyle. But it takes a shift in identity. It takes a willingness to give up to get. And so the process that I've created to help me make sense of it and to share with you is called the LIT path, L-I-T. And of course, this information is free. I didn't invent any of this, but I've just packaged in a way that has helped me identifying the lifestyle that you want. And if it's different from your current lifestyle, great. The next step in that process, the I, is the identity that we're currently hooked inside of, supported by. And this is where we want to get curious about what kind of comforts inside this current identity paradigm might I need to let go of in order to gain more access to happiness. And this is where the work happens. There is no skirting around this. I don't care how clear our vision is for our life, how willing we are to take action. If we skip this step, we don't change. You can't go around the fire. You have to go through it, because that is where the transformation happens that allows you to step into a new version of yourself that lives inside of a lifestyle that lights you up. So identities are constructed to help us make sense of the world and to help us get a sense of safety and security, know our place, feel in control. And this is a good thing. It can get in the way of growth, but what we first want to do is really acknowledge our current identity in a way that pays homage to it, gives thanks to it, because it's gotten us to where we are now. And at some point, we built this identity, this sense of self, to serve us. And so we really have done the best we can with the information we've had up to this point. I want you to consider getting rid of the idea of two sides of yourself at war or a beratement of oneself. Because the truth is, if you had better tools, more awareness before today in pursuit of an upgraded lifestyle or a different way to be, then you would have already been there. So in this identity process, this shift from where we've been to where we want to go, the first step is acknowledge, and thank yourself, and thank those parameters and those limits that we've put around ourselves, because they served us. And if they're not serving us now, it's not about beating ourselves up or, trying to minimize them and stomp on them. And it's about having love for what and who we've been. And there's an opportunity to send them off into the ether, or have a symbolic funeral, or a letting go of what has been. And it's okay if you feel that betrayal, the fear, the discomfort that is definitely going to be there, a disloyalty maybe, a sadness, an anger. Those emotions are there as we are unhooking from a way that we've been. And if you feel those, I would say use that as your signal to know you're on the right track, that it's working, that your shift in identity has been activated, that it's happening. And maybe instead of reacting out of fear, like, oh, there's something wrong here, can you be with those emotions as they bubble up? Can you just be with them out of curiosity, with compassion, with breath? We get through anything by breathing through it. If you've given birth, you know that to be true. Or if you were birthed, that's how your mom had that process happen for you. Breath gets us through anything. And when we breathe, we become present to the fact that these emotions are just sensations in our body. There are atoms moving rapidly or slowly. Maybe our stomach feels churny. We're holding our breath maybe, and that tension is creating sensation. But really, at the end of the day, it's just sensation in our body. It's not bigger than you. You are big enough to contain whatever shows up. I'm getting a thumbs up from my program. I love it. Yeah, I don't know if that showed up on the screen, but Zoom really liked what I just had to say. You are big enough to feel what's going to come up and hold space for it. And that's all you have to do. Because when you hold space for something in respect and honor it, it shifts, it dies down. Those sensations change and they shift. And breath is how we get through it. And when we symbolically release and unhook from our loyalty to what has been, to the parameters we've told ourselves have to stay around us, what we've allowed ourselves to have and be and do in this world so far, and open up to new opportunity and new possibility, and define that. What does that look like? What is that lifestyle, and who do I need to be in order to make space for that, to allow some of those new things to come in? Get clarity on that. And then through repetition, you want to keep leaning into that new uncomfortable pair of shoes that is going to feel like they don't fit at first. Because anytime we change, there's a sense of growing pains. It is an identity shift, and we're finding our way. So you have to give yourself that grace period to navigate through the unknown into new territory that becomes more known the more repetition we participate in. So that shift from identity, honor what was, get clear about what can be, and then let yourself navigate through that process with grace, compassion, understanding, awareness, and gratitude, and courage. Give yourself permission. And then we get to the T in the lit, which is the transformation. And transformation really does happen through action taking. And it really is as simple as that. And as we make these shifts in our identity, we can start taking action toward the lifestyle that we are being called to lead, to step inside, to call to us, to bring to us. And action taking, it can be tiny, small little things, or mammoth quantum leaps, but action taking in support of this lifestyle with this new identity linked in is how we create transformation and make lasting transformation. And there will be times when you lean back into that old identity. That's normal too. It's just, again, a repetitive retraining of your mind. You're building new neuro grooves in your beautiful brain, and it just takes time. It's like water, it creates a chasm over time, but you have to give it that time. So I want to invite you today to ask, where in my comfort zone might I be willing to unhook from or let go of in order to gain access to an upgrade in my life? What's one limiting belief or habit or behavior that has served me, has stopped serving me, that I'm willing to let go of to gain more happiness? I'm going to exchange comfort for happiness. Find that one thing, and it can be small and clear and simple. And when you stay committed over the next 7 days to unhooking from that, letting it go peacefully with gratitude, and replacing it with a new belief or habit, behavior that's going to allow you to move into the transition, the transformation of a life that really is calling to you, that will move mountains. It's the baby steps. It's eating an elephant one little bite at a time. And progress builds upon itself. So momentum is a real thing. We start out small and deliberate, and we have to remind ourselves a million times and convince ourselves and overcome the fear that's there. And as we keep doing that, it gets easier and it gets easier and it gets easier. So that is my invitation to you today, to stop and do some investigating into how you can give up, let go of, in order to gain something that matters to you. Because we get to keep doing this process for the rest of our lives, and it gets easier the more you do it. So I would say start today. Start today. Know that you really do have more control over the outcomes of your life than you might believe, and the same goes for me, it's the deliberate mindfulness and convincing ourselves that we are capable of becoming the container for a life that really lights us up. So, my friend, thank you so much for listening. It really does mean the world, because I would just be a voice talking out into the void if it wasn't landing on your beautiful set of ears. So I love you, and let's keep opening that door to a life and livelihood that you love. Be well.